Well, it's an organization known for its commitment to creating opportunities for low-income individuals with the essential skills needed to thrive in the ever-evolving 21st century job market. Career advisors for Goodwill San Francisco Bay met with close to 2,900 individuals last year. They hired nearly 1,000 and placed more than 1,100 people in jobs at Bay Area companies. Its goal is to help create a Bay Area where no one is left behind. So joining us now is William Rogers, who is the CEO of Goodwill San Francisco Bay. William, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So William, a lot of people are familiar with Goodwill stores. They may not be so familiar with what the stores mean and what they raise the money for. So why don't you explain to us what the money raised in Goodwill stores goes toward?
Absolutely. So many people do think of Goodwill as a store or a place to drop off the stuff that they no longer need, which is terrific. And what that does is it provides, so when you donate a shirt, right, to Goodwill, that shirt becomes the supply for a business whose only purpose is to hire folks who would otherwise be unemployable. So people who are formerly incarcerated, people who have struggled with substance use, people who have low skill or education levels. And so the money raised through the stores, what it does is it pays the salaries and benefits for those folks, and then it also pays for training. And so we're training people in all sorts of things, from technology to e-commerce to just basic work skills.
Or it's so interesting because those folks work in stores, but you also expand the training part of the job to other things for those people who work for you. Talk a little bit about that part.
Absolutely. So everyone who comes into Goodwill, who comes to work for us, they may enter into an entry-level job, but we do two things. One, we provide a ton of training for folks who are working in the stores, in our e-commerce businesses, and in the warehouses for logistics and distribution and trucking. And then, so we might help people get their Class A licenses, for example, or we help people with technology. We have lots of different ways of looking at technology, because every job these days has some sort of technological component. So we're helping people who work for us, but we also, of the 1,200 people that we placed in jobs last year, about 70% of those we placed outside of Goodwill, and about 30% of those we placed within Goodwill. So we employ about 1,000 people in Goodwill of the San Francisco Bay, and about 85% of those folks have barriers to employment, and we have robust training programs for those folks.
So one of the interesting training programs you guys have, and you have several of these, is the training in tech and certifications, which can be transferable outside of Goodwill as well, particularly important in this area and particularly important in just the job market in general. So tell us a little bit about how that works.
So we bring people in. We have a number of different certifications for technology, including we have something that we're doing now with Dev Mission, where folks are getting certified in various different technological disciplines. And then what that does is that helps people in their current jobs, but it also we also, again, are placing about 70% of the people outside. So we work with about 400 different employers to place folks who we serve into jobs. It could be technology, or it could be jobs that are not technologically based, but have technological components. And we're working with folks, if you've been, let's say that you were in prison for 7 years, your ability to understand sort of what's happening technologically today is really limited. And so what we're doing is we're helping people get caught up, and then we're helping people get certifications in a variety of different technological areas.
So what are some of the examples of certifications that they could possibly get, perhaps in the technology sector? So
we're certifying people in e-commerce. We're certifying people in Coursera. We're certifying people in your N+, A+, S+ certifications, just all sorts of different things.
Wow.
Whether you're in the front line or whether you're behind the scenes, we're certifying folks in all sorts of different things.
For instance, the e-commerce, what does that entail?
So we have a fairly large e-commerce presence, which is something that folks don't know about.
True. We think about the
stores, right?
Yeah.
But we have a large e-commerce, and what we're doing is we're teaching people about listing, photography, the back end and the front end, so that, because again, what's happening now is, a lot of folks are not going to brick and mortar stores, right? They're ordering online, or they're doing both. And so we want people to be, again, set up for these 21st century jobs, which includes e-commerce is a big there's a big market for e-commerce, and so we have folks who are moving from Goodwill into other organizations where they're doing a lot of e-commerce.
And William, as we wrap up here, what do you want the public to know here in terms of the job training that Goodwill provides and the things that they donate and the things that they purchase from Goodwill?
So I think that there's two things. Number one is our mission, and we're a nonprofit mission-based organization, and our mission is to provide second chances through training and the dignity of work. So when you donate something to Goodwill, what you're doing is you're helping to employ somebody who would otherwise be difficult to employ. The other thing that I want folks to know is we divert about 400 million pounds from the landfills every year. So we're also doing something good for the planet. So we like to talk about people, planet, and possibilities. And really, what you're doing when you donate to Goodwill is you're doing good for people and you're doing good for the planet.
Yeah, so it's twofold. Twofold when you do it, and two very important things right now, environmentally and getting people who probably would not get that help, the help that they need to get back into the workforce. William Rogers, CEO of San Francisco Goodwill, San Francisco Bay, thank you so much for joining us today and continuing the work that you're doing. Just fantastic what you guys are doing out here. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. And if you'd like to donate to Goodwill San Francisco Bay, scan the QR code on your screen right now, or you can head over to KTVU.com/Giving Day for much more information.